was purple, not
Purple? Didn't even know that was a color option.
I know either.
It's plugged in. I mean, it's connected. Good morning, everyone. As we stumble through...
I have no way of seeing.
No, I think it's blue. It's just in this light, it looks purple. Yep. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our final morning here in the old city of Chiang Mai. So I thought we would just take you on a walking tour around the city. Well, we'll walk around the city and I'll talk about things we're seeing and talk about our experiences here the last couple of days. And you can hopefully see what it's like to be here. And maybe someday you too can come and visit as well and enjoy this sort of slice of Thai history. Good morning. So everyone is very friendly here, even if they cannot necessarily get something from you, even if they're not serving you in a tourist way, right? Which is, it's a nice feeling. People greet you in the morning, they greet you in the afternoon, they greet you in the evening. Morning here is particularly beautiful because there is not much in the way of traffic and the city has not quite yet awoken. It gets kind of bustling here in the day and especially in the evening. But in the old city, which is where we are, at nighttime, it grows very, very quiet because most of the activity tends to happen just outside of the city walls. You have lots of little stores and street food places like this to the right here, sort of probably less formal an operation. But one of the things that really defines Chiang Mai are its wats, its temples, and they are everywhere. They are stunning examples of architecture. And some are in the older style, made of beautiful teak wood, and others are in the new style. It's been plastered over and coated in gold leaf. I actually prefer this more traditional style, with the teak, the beautiful teak walls, the gorgeous gables with their dragon finials. Right. And apparently every time there was a victory in battle, this is what the inside of the temple sanctuary looks like.
I think that story's apocryphal.
Yeah, that's why I said apparently. Possibly apocryphally. We were told by one of the men who is working to restore these temples, one of the craftsmen, the manager actually, that there are so many wats here in Chiang Mai because every time there was a victory in battle, they dedicated another temple in honor of that victory, which meant that there are many, many wats here through the centuries, that this was the capital of the Lanna kingdom.
What did he say? 470 battles, 470?
Right, yeah, 470 battles, 470 watts. Yeah. Let's go this way. And they are. I don't know where they're going. They don't know where they're going. You can kind of see, so here's in the same complex, there's a second sanctuary. And this one is obviously of a different style than that first one, much more ornate. One of my friends told me that this is more the Burmese style here. Apparently, the later kings of Siam were very fond of the Burmese style.
The zodiac.
Oh yeah, the zodiac signs. So you can see on these windows we have signs of the zodiac carved into the shutters and then gilt.
There I am.
Rabbit and tiger, dragon and snake. And it's funny that their snake here is a king cobra. Their zodiac is a super deadly animal. Yeah, these giant pod things. Yeah, understated. Now, something you will see a lot of here in Chiang Mai are these peacocks worked into things. And you can see them up here above the lintels.
I know I'm high enough. There you go.
Yeah, so you can see the peacocks here on the over the lintel. And Chiang Mai has an especially strong association with the peacocks because apparently there was a point at which the kingdom was invaded in the 16th century. Chiang Mai was invaded, and the monks all fled to the jungles. And in the jungles, they tended to the peacocks that were living there, because peacocks are actually jungle birds. They're jungle chickens, fancy jungle chickens. And so the monks tended to the peacocks there. And so since that time, peacocks have been sort of part of the totem animal, the mascot of Chiang Mai. Which, if you're going to pick a mascot, can't think of a more beautiful bird, honestly. And bonus, peacocks have a terrifying screech that will strike fear into the hearts of enemies. It sounds sort of like a dying child if you've never heard it before. It is a very haunting sound. Unfortunately, we have not seen any living peacocks just sort of meandering about here in Chiang Mai. But we have seen, of course, chickens and hens and roosters of a chicken variety that are very primordial, sort of what chickens were, jungle hens basically, jungle fowl, before we humans got our hands on them and started selectively breeding them. So they basically look like velociraptors with feathers.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. That's okay. He looks friendly. Friendly, curious puppy. Nothing to be afraid of. So Thailand seems to be in its state of development in which many people most people can now afford cars. And if they can't afford cars, then they can afford mopeds or other kinds of motor scooters, or even motorcycles. And so pretty much everyone here drives everywhere by motorized vehicle at all times, no matter how close or far it is. Locals are always very surprised at how much we walk. When we don't really walk that much. Yeah. When we don't really walk that much, they think a kilometer is a far distance to walk, the people we've encountered here. Whereas for us, a far distance, that requires planning would be like 7 kilometers. Travel tip for Thailand: if you need to cross the street as a pedestrian, you must use your force of will to force the cars to stop for you at the crosswalk. They will stop for you if you make eye contact and scowl, which I'm good at.
The lights are off right now.
Yeah, no, this intersection is total chaos at this point. Yeah. Because we didn't really discuss which way we might want to go this morning. But do we have a particular direction we'd like to go? Do you think we should go?
We want to walk down the street where they did the night market. This is where...
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so there are no purely pedestrianized areas here in Chiang Mai, which is kind of scary because there are roads where you think vehicles shouldn't go, but they do. Roads so narrow that you might lose paint on either side of your car by scraping against buildings. But the other night we did a live walkthrough here of the walking market, the handcraft market. It was closed down to traffic for the night and stalls were set up. Here you can see some of the more colonial style architecture. So we'll take you down that street now and show you the difference. See, colonial style architecture, you have a lot of courtyards and high ceilings with ceiling fans. Those lanterns you see there, those can be cloth or paper. They're a traditional style here in Chiang Mai and in northern Thailand, this part of the world. And then of course, if you look to your right, as always, I said there's lots of Watts here. There are a lot of Watts here. And I asked why there are so many more Watts here in the downtown heart of Chiang Mai, where there aren't really that many in Bangkok, or if there are, they're not visible. And actually, it was explained to me, and it makes sense, Bangkok is the new capital of Siam. The old capital was Pattaya? Can't Okay, don't hold me to that. I'm going to have to look it up. But the capital was moved in the 19th century, and so they didn't have as much time to build as many temples in Bangkok as they had to build here in Chiang Mai before it ceased to be a city of importance in the Lana Kingdom. But yeah, here if you can come and look through the gates, you can see some of the truly ornate style of wattage. And unfortunately, we cannot really safely get us, well, I guess we could cross the street.
Yeah, there's like a dozen more.
Yeah. Here, ladies and gentlemen. Nights ago. Completely different beast, right? And I will tell you that the smells coming out of all these restaurants and these food stands, like here we have a food stand with little plastic stools, and you literally just order. They serve it right there and you sit. Did you show them? Okay. Yeah. Delicious. And I know some people about food safety, but I feel like I said this in my if food safety were really an issue and people or suffering from food poisoning on a basis, even the Thai government would do something about it, because the last thing they want to do is lose hundreds or thousands of tourists to botulism, right? So if you look over here across the street, you can see a row of buildings that have been built in the last couple of decades, but you know, they've tried to maintain at least the traditional style of gabled roof on the top, even though the buildings are made of completely modern materials. It would be, would be a much prettier view, of course, if you didn't have the terrifying jungle of lines that could be power lines or communication lines, or lines that aren't even being used anymore, apparently. Apparently is, no thank you. Appreciate it, but no thank you. Yeah, again, they don't understand why we'd want to walk. I feel like I can see more in better detail on foot than moving around in a motorized vehicle. Unfortunately, a new smell here in Thailand that we didn't really have before is the stench of skunk weed, of marijuana, because it was legalized recently, just in time to open up visa-free travel with Korea, Japan, China, etc. And so now there are head shops everywhere selling cannabis of all sorts. And so now you occasionally get the stench of weed drifting out. Thankfully, it's not as bad as it is in places like New York City, where the stench of pot being smoked makes me want to vomit. Here's one of the Watts from the other night where there was a food court inside, and it's been restored. Let's go take a peek. So remember, if you're in Thailand, they drive on the right. Or they drive on the left. They drive on the left. Like, yeah, sorry, they drive on the left. So you have to look right before you cross, and then left. So here we have a sacred tree. And you can tell it's a sacred tree for many reasons. One, of course, we have, you know, the Buddha shrine. And the other way you can tell is if you look at the tree itself, you can see all of these supporting branches that have been carefully propped up to support this ancient tree. And basically each one of those propping branches is a sign of devotion from a single person who went and propped the tree up to show and to, you know, pray and show their faithfulness, their support, literally their support. But these are the actual practical supports, the metal struts, the ones that actually keep this tree from collapsing in on itself. Yeah. Yeah, with the...
Never seen that before.
I don't know what those are. They look like galls. I don't know what those are. I don't know what those pods hanging off of this tree's branches are. Fortunately, we no longer have our Thai companions with us to answer questions like that. We have now all separated out. We have all separated out. And over here you have another Wat with a different,
Trying to take a photo.
oh, I know, it's okay. With yet another kind of decoration, decorative style, sort of.
Kamida.
The United States, but we live in South Korea.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Of the tip.
Yeah, thank you. Right, so up here, yeah, you can see sort of glass inlay, enamel work, mirror pieces. Right, mirrored pieces. Right, so it's yet again a different style. So all of these temples, all of these Buddhist temples have a different aesthetic to offer and a different decorative style. And in fact, many of them may be different sects of Buddhism, because like Christianity, like Islam, there is no one central set of practices or dogma for Buddhism. Yep. Well, continuing onward. So many of these temples will have coffee shops and food stalls even when it's not walking market time. That's not mine, is it? Okay.
Everybody has the same sound.
Everyone has the same sound. And something you should know that Thailand is very much a shoes off when indoors sort of place. So especially in temples where they're trying to keep a sort of sacred, kittens! Our mouse. Oh, and they're playing. And here are your, oh, and it's the mommy. Look, here we have our first Thai kitty family. Thai kitties tend to be pretty friendly. No, go back to playing. Come on, chop chop. Well, I'm gonna go see if they'll let me pet them. Meow mouse. Psst, psst, psst. No? Meow meow. Psst, psst, psst. Mommy. Psst, psst, psst. Oh. So many Thai kitties tend to be very friendly and like pettings, but I suppose these temple kitties have not been raised, sadly, to be petted kitties. Meow mouse. Psst, 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 psst. No? No? Okay, well, I'm not going to terrorize them further.
You're not going to stop me from playing.
Okay, well, there are your first Chiang Mai kitties. So yeah, Thailand is very much a shoes off kind of culture, especially in these temples. So just remember that. It might be helpful if you're out and about exploring Thailand to wear shoes that you can easily kick off. Right? So easily off, easily on. Just for the sake of ease of visiting all of these amazing, beautiful places. And the Wat courtyards tend to be very peaceful. Like there's the rush and bustle and stench of traffic and motor scooter exhaust. But here in the courtyards of these complexes, you almost can't hear the sound. Almost. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it's probably pretty late on the East Coast. I suspect it's like 12:30 a.m. on the East Coast. Why we don't have any viewers? Yeah, it's pretty late, but that's okay. Oh, right. So over there in the distance. Right, remember I said places that don't look like roads or roads? Yeah, so over there in the distance, you can see one of the ancient chedi. Chedi is a stupa or pagoda in English. It's where a towering structure in which they inter relics from Buddhism or the ashes of great kings and queens. And that one, I think, dates from, it's very old. 13th century. I think that's the earliest one that has survived, right? Yeah, 13th century Chedi. So we'll see if we can get a closer look at that. Now over here in this wall, and you'll notice most of these complexes have these niches in the wall. So the niches are there for people to make offerings to the people who are interred in the wall, whose ashes are interred in the wall. So near that niche, inside the mortar or inside the masonry, there are ashes, human ashes, of people who donated money to the temple, who supported the temple in some very tangible way. And then those little niches are so that descendants and family members can place offerings, flowers, and little bits of food and whatnot, maybe light candles in the niche. So yeah, anytime you see those niches, there are dead people behind them. Over here to the left, we have one of the colonial houses. This was apparently the home of the mayor, originally the mayor of Chiang Mai. It's now apparently not really being used except by the police as parking, apparently. But you know, these style of homes I find, and they're called colonial not because Siam was colonized. It wasn't, because era, and that was sort of introduced the mixture between local and Western architecture. Oh, yes, right. Okay, so just drove away. Right, okay, so those red vehicles with the red trucks with sort of the open backs that just went by, that is a very common and cheap way to get around the city. They are taxis of a sort. You can also sort of rent them for the day, and they will take you to all sorts of places, to sites, basically. Oh, let's go this way. They will take you to all sorts of sites. You know, like there's an itinerary, of course. So they'll take you around for very little money, and you sit in the back. There's no seatbelts. It feels sort of dangerous, maybe for an exciting life, I guess. Fortunately, because of all the exhaust from all the cars and all of the motor scooters, I didn't really enjoy it at all, because all I was doing was breathing exhaust smoke, which wasn't great. But for people who aren't persnickety like me, it can be a very fun, adventurous experience. I mean, it will be adventurous no matter what. Morning. So here we're getting off the beaten trail, and we're getting into sort of genuine Thai style of living. So here you have a restaurant that serves, you know, and here's how you can tell it's a restaurant that's off the beaten trail. You'll notice there's no English on any of these signs. That's all Thai. And I'm not good enough to know whether that's the Northern Thai script, or I'm not well versed enough to know whether that's the Northern Thai script or the standardized Thai script, but apparently the Northern Thai script is not mutually intelligible to people, Thai people, who only the standardized Thai alphabet, which I thought was interesting.
Here's a good example of the...
Oh yeah, up here you can see the beautiful artistry of the power grid and communication infrastructure here in Thailand. I was told by my Thai friends that there is an initiative in place to bury these cables, but unfortunately the recent government has said there isn't actually enough money to actually do it all, so they're going to do 2 streets in Bangkok and like 1 here. But hopefully someday you will be able to look up in Thailand and not see a maze of terrifying black wires. Oh yeah, yeah. Fruit smoothies are super popular here. Mango, guava, strawberry, kiwi, avocado, which I would say are especially the mango and the guava are like the fruits that are most comfortable to foreigners, but definitely do not really represent the breadth of fruit types that you can get here in Chiang Mai. For those who don't know, that's what a coconut looks like when you dehusk it. Oh, right. Yeah. So here we are heading towards that very ancient cherry. So 13th century. It's pretty old. So Chiang Mai as a city was founded in 1294? 1292, in sort of the 1290s, the early 1290s. It was
4 a.m. on the first day.
It was a planned city, yeah, exactly. We can pinpoint it down to a time in a place that didn't have clocks.
It was the most auspicious. I know, I read it in the museum yesterday.
Yes, that's right. It was the most auspicious time for the museum. Oh no, it's closed. No, what cherry? But they just drove through it. There must be a way to get in from another. This maybe this is the 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. gate, I guess. But we'll find a way in. Door opening time, open at 5 a.m., closes at 8 a.m. Okay, please use the main gate at the front of the temple only. Okay, well, we'll walk around there. Of course, I don't know what the front is.
That side.
Right, it's the other side. Okay. But, you know, by wandering down these back alleys, one does get off the beaten tourist trail, and you can see a much more authentic style of living and life. I mean, Chiang Mai does certainly have a lot of Western tourists, but I would say I definitely have seen a lot of Thai tourists as well, from southern and central Thailand. They actually come up here because it's cheap to go shopping for them. Things are much less expensive here in the north than they are in the south. Over there you can see 2 Buddhist monks having a meal, which is probably a lunch at this point. With all of these temples everywhere, you're going to have lots of monks to go along with it. Yeah, the tropical flowers that grow literally like weeds because, well, they mostly are weeds, just add such a beautiful. Is why aesthetically Thai people really like bright colors, because they're surrounded by bright colors all the time. It's almost part of their DNA. Ooh, look at this one. This pretty, yeah. Yeah, you just have to keep your eyes open. Don't get too wrapped up. You know, I always tell people, take a wander. Just go out and explore and see what beautiful things there are. We tend not to plan our trips very much beyond, you know, the plane tickets, the lodging. And then when we get to the place, we really just like to explore. So here you can see a more traditional style architecture over here.
Oh, we're live again.
Okay, welcome back everyone, if you realized you were gone. Yeah, so for example, pomegranate bushes, shrubs, grow here absolutely like weeds. I don't even know if people here eat the pomegranates, honestly. I've never seen pomegranate on a menu here as part of a dish. More likely, I found pomelo, which doesn't grow natively here. I think it comes from China, actually. But I haven't seen papaya, I've seen, but not pomegranate. Oh, pretty wall art.
Oh, sorry, people.
That's what you get for looking at the cats. So those who do tea or teas. Street food on the left. Street food on the left. Pretty wall art on the right. Lotus blossoms. Lotus plants are a massive symbol, a very important key central symbol in Buddhism, because the lotus blossom is a swamp plant. The lotus is a swamp plant. It grows in the nastiest, dirtiest, muckiest water you can imagine, and it flourishes. And so it is a metaphor for the human soul. How even out of the dirtiest conditions, a pure human soul can thrive and grow. And so that's sort of a central idea of Buddhism. Hence why you will definitely see lotus blossoms all around, and is the motifs in most Buddhist temple complexes. Of course, tourist clothing shops, typical style straw hat for farmers here. You notice it's nothing like the conical hat that is sort of stereotypical of, well, places like Vietnam, especially for farmers. Elephant, okay, Chiang Mai elephant home, right. So, elephants are native to Thailand, but have also been used here as beasts of burden for centuries upon centuries. And for a long time, they were a key part of the tourist industry in a very abusive way. They were used for elephant rides, and they were also used, not just for tourism, but for actual lumber work, actually in the logging industry. Oof. And, that gate's closed. Okay. And so it used to be that you could go and swim, go riding in the river with the elephants, but that's all very abusive. And the way that you have to train elephants to make them safe is horrible. So now there are many elephant sanctuaries, in quotes, that claim to offer sort of humane elephant interactions, but even still are continue to abuse their elephants and train native type natives, and train their elephants in ways that are just not natural. And honestly, human elephant interactions aren't necessarily natural anyway. So if you want to have an elephant experience, try to pick a sanctuary that is a real sanctuary, that is an actual elephant rescue, where you get to watch the elephants and see them from a distance, enjoying their natural life. That being said, Thailand is not a rich country, and there isn't a huge amount of money being donated to support rescued elephants. So they have to make money to feed these elephants in some way, because elephants eat 10% of their weight a day, and that's expensive. So,
they eat for 20 hours.
Right, they apparently eat for 20 hours and sleep for 4. I haven't verified that, but that's what our tour guide said the other day. So that means we need to raise the tourist dollars or the tourist baht in another way. And so they do so by offering interactions of maybe a less invasive type. We found an elephant sanctuary where you feed the elephants, and then the elephants kind of meander down to the river, and you can, splash water on them. And they do this without any sort of training. The elephants are willing participants. And if the elephants don't want to go to the river, they don't go to the river. If they want to leave the river, they leave the river. So yeah, please don't ride the elephants. Please do your research and see how the elephants are being trained, or if they're being trained, how they are handled, what kind of relationship they have with their handlers. Try not to support the ones that continue to abuse the elephants under the guise of sanctuary. The place we went to called the Green Living Elephant Sanctuary, and their elephants were 100% rescues, abused elephants who had been rescued from really horrible circumstances. Except for the baby who was born there, and maybe the tweens as well, maybe.
The twins were rescued.
The tweens were rescues as well, okay.
2 from riding, 1 from riding.
Oh, right, okay. So we found... No, this is a school. School. I don't want to be the creepy grown-up who goes into the school property. So this living elephant sanctuary, the caretakers care very much about their elephants. They do not use any sticks or halters or lines. They use sweet, sweet bribery with their elephants, which means they basically give them bananas. to go places. Oh, wow, this is neat. So here you can actually see a building that is either being restored or being built in the traditional Thai timber frame style. That's pretty neat. That's, oh wow. I'm always amazed at, wow, how they can balance things on those carts. Wow. Inside. Okay, I think. Okay. Well, here we go. Okay, so this one, most of the temples do not charge. This one does, and that's fine. I'm happy to give money because, you know, this all costs a lot of money to maintain. Yes. Okay. Yes. Each, right? Okay.
I know. I think.
There are places you can't go.
Right. Okay.
Because you're dirty.
Yes, I know. I'm unclean. Okay, so remember when you are entering a temple, they want modesty. So there are certain things that just will not be allowed. And they provide that here with words and pictures.
And free clothing rental.
And then you can, yeah, free clothing rental, which I guess makes it a clothing loan instead. All right, so here we are. You can actually see we have planters of lotus blossoms. Remember what I said about the importance of the lotus flower?
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I love lotus blossoms. They're just so beautiful. I can stare at them forever. In Korea, we use lotus blossoms to make a very tasty kind of sticky rice as the cooking vessel, actually. Here, they tend to use banana leaves in that same country. Yeah, I'm not allowed in here. I love the sexism. It's funny that the thing that actually allows women to be the bearers of the next generation makes them unclean. Sexist bullshit. Okay. And mind you, that's not only this particular set of beliefs where that is the case. But you can go in, handsome. So my cameraman will take you in. Since I am unclean. Of the rules, social instability. One way to coerce people into following your arbitrary right, exactly. And cameraman, how was it?
It was beautiful.
Oh, I kind of figured it would be. Swap.
Swap.
Well, while my cameraman replaces his feet. Oh, I got this at the walking street market the other night, the 2 nights ago. But here, there's a factory outside of factory in quotes. It's handwork, but there's a bunch of people working outside of the city. If you look up Chiang Mai umbrella,
Okay. I think it's a handcraft.
it is.
Handicap handcraft center or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's fine for the weather.
Yeah, so it's fabric. Go ahead and touch it. You can't hurt it. It's fabric. It's cotton, heavy cotton, and it's been painted, so the weather cannot touch this thing. Yeah, so it works against sun and against rain. So yeah, if you go back to Spain, you can use this to keep the sun, get portable shade.
From Mexico.
Oh, you're from Mexico. Okay. Well,
Where are you from?
we actually live in South Korea right now.
Really close.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. I mean, relative
yeah,
to.
yeah.
Yeah, you had to cross the Pacific Ocean.
It was like 2 days for entire flight.
Right. Yeah, because you have late.
Many different countries, but 2 days.
Yeah, it's not easy to reach Thailand from the Americas at all.
Exactly.
You have to want it.
Have a good trip.
You too as well. Okay, we'll go this way, I guess.
School right next to the well.
We'll go behind them. Children from the knitting school. My cameraman. Dream. Those are hand woven, and apparently they are donated by devout people to the festival. And they use them as rags and for other purposes rather than just leave them hanging forever. It's a very interesting idea of reduce, recycle. Nothing goes to waste. Here again, we have antiques, which I really love. I have to say, I had the wrong impression of how Chiang Mai would look because I've, read travel articles on it in National Geographic for literally decades, and they always feature pictures focus on the. It would all be old teak and. That exactly in the state of repair, and that's fine. But I had to adjust my expectations. Some smaller towns in Thailand are still traditional teak, older architecture, and not been modernized in terms of the buildings. Chiang Mai is just not one of them because Chiang Mai is the second largest city in Thailand and is basically the unofficial capital of the north. So the second you have a population like that, it's very hard to maintain a historic look when you don't also have the resources to maintain the historic look. But this complex is stunning. I mean, it really is. Ramp or step. And here it is, the oldest chedi in Thailand. And honestly, it's huge. As chedi goes, as stupa goes, this is immense. There is nothing like this in Korea. It is very impressive. Now, I understand why you're not allowed to climb the stairs anymore. On the other hand, I want to climb the stairs. No. I might be too far for it to actually have been picking up what I was saying. Of course, it is the rainy season here in Chiang Mai and in Thailand, so pretty much every day it rains for at least part of the day. It's just the way of it. But it's warm, so honestly, the rain feels nice. Of course, I'm not certain how much my camera likes the rain, but now check out these very fierce-looking guardians. Oh, okay, so here's apparently, I'm assuming, a reconstruction of how it looked before the centuries took their toll.
The elephant's like the other one that still has it.
Yeah, ooh, these were all removed. Look at that, it looks like they were ripped away. But they were. So here you can see how it used to look, and then you can look up and see how it looks now. At least on this side, all of the elephants have been ripped off of the original of their locations. And I'm cynical enough to believe that maybe some wealthy Westerners came in and decided they wanted those elephant statues, and they bought them and took them from a people who, maybe didn't place as much value in the historical objects as many of us do now.
As we noted in the museum, it's interesting because they don't really do dates.
Oh, that's a good point. So yeah, in the museums here, and it's frustrating, it seems that the idea of history isn't fully fledged in this part of Thailand anyway, and actually in Bangkok as well, because they don't view their objects that are historical through the lens of history. They're just objects from the past, and they don't provide dates. They don't, or rarely provide dates for items. So you might be looking at a piece of pottery, and that pottery could be 1,000 years old, or it could be 100 years old. There doesn't seem to be a distinction in how they are approached. Which for someone like me who's very interested in the evolution of material culture over time, it frustrates me because I can't establish a line of evolution in my mind, an aesthetic evolution of function, and if I can't place the objects in a chronological order. Obviously it matters to me, but not to everyone. So it's a fascinating distinction.
What I find interesting is the brickwork underneath of these ends going up, and then the carved on top.
Yeah, I really see, so this used to be, right now you see all this brick, this empty naked brick, but you can occasionally see chunks of the plaster layer that used to be over top, which is very much same style of architecture was used in ancient Rome. What many people think are, marble buildings are not. On the inside, they're this brickwork, and then there's a marble facade maybe, or even a plastered facade, as in this case. And so in the columns are the guardian serpents or guardian dragons. Here at the bottom of the ramp, you can see that there is, stone and plaster, actually molded plaster that used to be, envelop entirely this brick support. But this is what, 700 years, 750 years or more of wear and tear looks like. If you don't maintain your buildings, this is what happens.
Still no viewers.
Well, even though I realize it's the middle of the night in the Americas, which is where most of you, my dear subscribers, are. But hopefully you can watch this as a recording and enjoy the stroll through Chiang Mai as I slip all over the now dangerously slick bricks. So here you have an example again of the teak architecture, the teak construction that I've been mentioning, and I really do prefer the teak, the mysterious subtlety, the darkness of the teak wood, how it creates a sort of mystical look.
Yesterday. Maybe yesterday.
I think those might be reconstructions. Oh, yes, right. So here you can see how the 5-headed dragon creature, and I feel like I'm missing probably some very important foundational myth or story that informs this particular choice of sculpture.
There's still elephants out there.
Oh, wow. Well, or they've replaced them. One or the other. But there are elephants up there. Ah, right. So here we have, don't take wedding photos here. That's interesting. Here we have a reclining Buddha. Oh, wow. Okay. And this one apparently dates to the late 15th century. The head reclines towards the south and faces the Grand Pagoda. It's about 1.93 meters high, so that's like 6'5", 6'6", and 8.7 meters long. The pavilion was built in 1955, but apparently the Buddha, that amazing golden statue in there, the reclining Buddha, is much older, which is often the case around here. We've encountered not surprisingly, the metal statuary lasts a lot longer than the wooden structures. It might be traditional Thai. But what's striking to me about this style of construction is how the Buddha looms out of the darkness and sort of glows at you beneficently. In a way that is literally awe-inspiring. Now I'm wondering if I set this recording to public or not. That would be annoying if it's set to private. And so that's why no one's tuning in. Here. I will. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I thought as much. It's okay. I will take over as camera person. Okay, dear viewer, let us go in. We are entering the sanctuary. So this is a shrine to a person. So this gentleman was an abbot here, who helped lay the foundation of this shrine. This is a shrine for Buddhist relics. Now, there is a possibility that he may actually be inside of that wax sculpture. That is a thing that is sometimes done in certain parts of the world, where they actually do entomb the skeleton of the deceased inside of a statue like that. That's a very impressive sculpture. Wow. Up above where? Yeah, that's enough. Shoes back on. Passing of the camera. Oh, I don't think I did. No, the lintel is quite stunning. So my love, be careful on these very slippery bricks. So up there you can see there are some of the elephant sculptures. I doubt that they're original. I suspect they're reproductions, replicas, to replace the ones that were removed. Oh, there's rebar there. Yeah, okay, that confirms it. So those are concrete, those are concrete casts of maybe what once, and somehow even still 2 of them have been removed. Or I guess we're never made it on, maybe.
I imagine it's expensive when you're trying to
Yeah, rebar is not an ancient construction technique.
Is there a way to check if it's private?
If there's a way to check if it's what?
Private?
No, not really. A way for me to check that, sadly. Yep. The only thing you can do is stop the stream and restart it and check the privacy settings. Wow, yeah, bricks are remarkably slick. My feet are actually slipping back. The one on the other side that looks very, very sad indeed, that is more likely to the 13th century. So might very well be one of the original elephant sculptures, or what's left of the poor thing. If it is, then I think it might actually, they might have been built in the brick with plaster over style, because I can see on one of his legs there's some of the upper layer of plaster missing.
There are also channels for water to exit through the trunks during rainstorms.
Oh, that is an interesting idea, except those channels are too low to come out through the trunk. That would just end up in his body. But maybe the upper ones are, that upper hole maybe might have been drained from the upper. Oh, that would be super impressive.
Yeah.
If those are actually water spouts from that upper level, and then when it rains, then you have all of these elephants spurting water down across the sides of the chedi, like in this stunning waterfall effect. Wow. That would be pretty brilliant. Unfortunately, I don't see any signs indicating anything about it, but I like that theory, and it looks to be borne up by the fact of where the main channel hole seems to have been relative to the trunk. Unfortunately, the central temple is completely covered in scaffolding. Thankfully for restoration work, because it's good that they have the funds and resources to do maintenance and restoration work on these temples. I never mind paying an entrance fee at these historic sites. Well, we walked up this, I guess, there's probably less likely to be cars this way. Oh, that smell, delicious. It smells like lilac. Ah, beautiful. That is the smell of springtime to me, even though it's not springtime. Oh, this is something they do in Buddhist temples in Korea as well. You can actually pay, what? Oh, you can actually pay to have a prayer in your name inscribed on these tiles. And here's a pile over here that has been inscribed. And then they will place them right now based on the sound of roof tiles being flung to the ground after being removed.
They recognize what this is. They're applying gold leaf to the statues as part of the thing.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, so I don't know if you could hear that, dear viewer, but you can actually, as part of your prayers, you can actually pay to have gold leaf applied, or apply the gold leaf to the statuary in sort of conjunction with your prayer, which is why it's not the most I've ever seen. Not everyone is trained in the fine gilding. Right. Oh yeah, so between pieces of paper is sandwiched a thin of gold, which is what you use to gild things. And you pay your 10 baht. From here, you can apply the...
Of your birth year.
Oh, of your birth year. Oh, good point. Sorry, correction, of your birth year.
Because there's rabbit. I see it over there.
Right, you're right. Is that the year of the, right? Or I would have been. Oh gosh, this is a through. Okay. I feel like walking. Thailand. I have not. Okay. Very much like people are smoking. Like me, but here, not many seem to be smoking in very public street areas. What? Right. So often when you see these little these things, oh yeah. So I guess you have the option, or this one was gold leafed and this is all that's left. Could go either way, I guess. I guess some people just decided to put their gold leaf wherever. Exit. Nope, that is not the exit. I guess the exit is this way.
Yeah, it's back.
Inside of the lotus blossom, sort of past its prime. You can see the lotus, the seed pod. Yeah, lotus blossoms are mesmerizing. Or not. I don't know how to exit. Maybe we just go out the way we came in?
Yes.
Oh, right. Okay. I didn't hear that. I was busy looking at the next thing to show our viewers. Here are these little banners up here are especially the kind that they would cut apart. They're donated to the temples.
The price for children is based on height.
Oh, wow, that's funny.
Shorter than 135 centimeters.
Oh, yeah, our children never would have been children then. Anyway, these banners up there are the type that are donated to the temples. And then you can see the lines between them, right along those unwoven bits of warp. They would pull the sticks out, they cut them, and then they use those as cloths for wiping and cleaning surfaces. Okay, out we go. Oh. Next door. That's fun. Oh, right. So across the street here, you may or may not be able to see yet, is this establishment called Lila Thai Massage. And it is a chain of massage centers that provide training and employment to women who have been released from prison. And so it provides them with an honest, stable source of income, and it's very specifically guaranteed to be actual massage and not something something much less savory. Which is not to say that there's anything wrong with prostitution per se, but if you're forced into a life of prostitution because of your socioeconomic circumstances, then it's wrong. Yeah, here's the one. Oh, look, and they must have finished polishing that. So, yes, I know, but that one too, look. Right? So this is definitely one of our favorite temples here because of its modesty and simplicity. It's a teak temple. This structure has been here for not that long, actually, but the Buddha inside is 500 years old and was specifically just restored, just polished back up to this amazing sheen. Last week, we met the man and talked to him who's in charge of this restoration work. And he's the one who told us that this is teak. When first built, they lacquer it to preserve it. And he said this needs to be re-lacquered, but the monks don't want it because they like the humility, the humbleness of the wear and tear that the wood is showing. Of course, as he said, that's not necessarily good for the longevity of the building. There should be a balance somewhere between modesty and practicality of not having to rebuild from scratch when this wood gives up the ghost before its time. But back here you can see this stunning gilt chedi stupa. At nighttime, and I did want to give you all a night walking tour, not just the walking market, but we never got to. Sorry, dear viewer. At nighttime, these things are illuminated and they really are stunning. This one definitely needs some re-gilding in part. Still quite impressive. And you just step back a little bit from the street in these courtyards and it gets very peaceful. The Buddha under the Bodhisattva, or under the Bodhi tree. I mean, I don't think it's a Bodhi tree. I'm afraid that my botany is not particularly strong, but symbolically it's the Bodhi tree, probably. So I will say that if you come to visit Thailand, it's very helpful to do a little reading on the Buddhist system of belief, on their foundational and the fundamental imagery, because they're under context, art and artwork and sculptures and statuary. An important part of just, exploiting with your eye, but gaining a better understanding of human culture and human society across the world. It's so pretty, the gables. And to a certain extent, I can see the similarities between Norse architecture and, Norse. Oh, right. This is definitely one of those donor spirit houses I mentioned. So that shrine inside are enshrined the statues and or portraiture of the people who donated to build this temple. And so offerings are made to them basically in perpetuity in thanks for their contributions. So if you would like to be sort of semi-deified in Chiang Mai, I guess all you have to do is donate enough money to build a temple. Certainly a concept that is not unique to Buddhism. Christianity has centuries of similar practices in the foundation of churches and cathedrals and coats of arms being enshrined. Just in case you wondered, we're really walking around. I was That was proof of veracity. He's not. That was uneven, slippery ground. Goodness gracious. Ooh, beautiful courtyards again. This is the Kum Museum, which is, let me see, used to be the residence of Chola Maha Indra. Let me see, constructed sometime around 1889 to 1893. So sort of a colonial style architecture. Of course, it doesn't say what the museum particularly presents now, but Lana Architecture Center of Chiang Mai University. Key? No. The Treasury Museum? Oh, it's not like cathedral treasuries, handsome. It's like money. Oh, so in Europe, if you see a sign that says treasury at a cathedral, it's literally the place where they store all of their, medieval and Renaissance and Baroque artwork that, in the form of objects. Often they're medieval textiles. Church treasuries in Europe are a great place for experimental archaeologists and living historians to explore. Here, though, treasury literally means the place where the museum of money, of currency. I think it's a private home or a government building. Yeah. So here we have the Tai Fei Old Town Market. Why don't we go in and take a look around? So it's very loud there. There are many hand craftsmen, very many craftsmen, craftswomen who make products here in Chiang Mai. And during the walking market, which is on Sunday evening, you can actually buy things from many of them. And here we have some other examples of handcrafts, possibly in some cases being sold by the artisans themselves. Usually becomes obvious if they're actually working on the thing that you're about to buy, then you know they made it themselves. Scoot in here so you can actually see the items without people getting in your way. Leather work, fun leather work. Oh my goodness, the chickens. Crocheting seems to be a really big thing here. We saw several different crocheters at the night market. Oh, look, it's the traditional, not for men though, these are for women. The tie pants, and not quite, sort of modernized. Wood game sets seem to be very common here as well. Oh, these aren't wood game sets. These are Thai Legos, not Legos, which are called Linko. Here are the wooden game sets I was mentioning. All sorts of Western games, some of them actually medieval. Oh, you're right, that is Mahjong. Right? Or is that not Mahjong? No, it's Mahjong. Is it?
That's the Chinese chess, like actual chess. Oh, up there. Yeah.
Isn't that Mahjong? Right, okay, that's what I thought.
I was looking at this one.
Oh.
Oh, look, connection. Traffic.
But I love this because it's wood and not plastic, so it will last longer and it's much more sustainable. Oh, look at that. Oh. So that's like $16 or $17. Emergency sandals for people who didn't bring their sandals for their elephant encounters. Oh, yeah. Pottery and tea. Tea especially is very traditional, has a long tradition in Thailand. There aren't many tea houses left, though, where you can actually take Thai in any kind of traditional tea in any kind of traditional way. But there are tea vendors, and you can buy teapot sets. The Celadon ones, I've been informed, are made here in Korea. No, this isn't Korea, Thailand. Yeah. Of course, for those who like Muay Thai, here you can buy your own pair of Thai boxing pants. You have to be careful about. You have to be careful though here about things that claim to be silk. Many of them are artificial silk. Hand woven and natural fabric clothes. So, you know, in a place that's as humid as Thailand is, having clothes that are voluminous on your body actually feels much better than tight clothes. Grecian style gown. Definitely not any kind of traditional Thai thing, but.
It's not set to private. Say hi.
Hello, dear viewer who's joined us. Oh, okay. Welcome, whoever's just joined us. Thank you for tuning in. We're just walking through the traditional arts market or handcrafts market. We actually bought a coconut shell bowl like this the other evening. Silver work is also a very large local craft. Yeah, some really, really splendid hair pieces, but you would need a lot more hair than I have to be able to wear those. Please don't. I don't have that kind of hair. Thai women tend to grow very thick hair. I don't have that. So back out on the street. So if you're just joining us, once this video posts, there's about an hour of walking around historic sites before this. You can go back and watch the recording. We went through a lot of temples, oh, that's interesting. What they did to that caiman, maybe?
Gator of some kind. I noticed a lot of alligator tying bowls. They're remarkably
You know, and every time I see a little alligator like that, I think about that Florida man who went into the liquor store with a baby alligator in his pocket. So, near Chiang Mai, there are many mountains, some very close, some very far. The closer ones you can reach by bus or by the various forms of taxi transportation, and then you can hike to the top of the mountain and have an amazing view and traverse rainforest. Then there are the highest mountains that are in Thailand that you can book a trek through many of these travel agencies, and they will drive you out there with a guide and take you through the forest. Oh, right. This is one of the most beautiful parts of Chiang Mai here to the left. We'll walk down it. Oh, just across the street. I just love this street with the arcade of ruined Tamarind restaurant and spa. And bamboo, for those who don't know, is actually a grass. It's a very solid grass, and it's definitely very self-propagating. And it grows here in large quantities. Yeah, kitty. Psst, psst, psst. Pretty kitty. Psst, psst, psst. Meow. Kitty, kitty. Meow, meow. Oh, no. Damn it, where did all the friendly kitties go? We've encountered nothing but super friendly kitties until today, dear viewer. So let me see. Tamarind Village. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I think this is a spa resort sort of place. Might stay here the next time we come here. It's quite beautiful. And again, you can barely hear the sounds from the street. It's so peaceful back here.
I think it's a restaurant too.
Yeah, it did say restaurant out there. Yeah, now then, let's do that. Go through the arcade here, the covered walkway. Yeah, scooters are omnipresent here. I would hope, anyway, as an avid pedestrian, that someday they pedestrianize large parts of Chiang Mai. Although my Thai friends suspected it would never happen. Careful. Oh, they offer tea here apparently. Enjoy an afternoon tea set with a selection of light, sweet, and savory snacks and specialty tea from Monsoon, the sustainable forest-grown tea at Wen Tamarind. Let's see, 950 baht for that.
Not too bad.
Baht is very. Smoking on the from Taiwan or China, Taiwan maybe. Anyway, so here to the right. Yep. Ah, fuck. So those were Chinese tourists, and they apparently think it's okay to smoke wherever, even though that's not what the Thai people here do. Anyway. Yeah, back over there is another Wat, and you can see the bunting, the blue and white bunting. That is in honor of the Queen's birthday, which was back in August, apparently. And over here we have another Wat. You can just walk in and take a look at it. And you'll see there is actually a massage place here, which when it's a massage place for everyone. Yeah, super ornate. No, that's its tail. Oh, I see what you're saying. The dragon, or is the lizard eating the dragon, or is the dragon emerging triumphant from the lizard? The other day, we actually attended a kantoke. Described it as a Thai luau, because apparently a wealthy resident of Chiang Mai went to Hawaii, saw a luau, and thought, well, we can do that in Thailand. And so he came back and he created this thing that he called kantoke. And it is a combination of a feast of traditional northern Thai foods with a performance of a series of Thai traditional dance from all over Thailand. It was actually a very fun experience. Even our Thai friends really enjoyed it. It is a beautiful temple. Yeah. We are from the United States, but we live in South Korea.
What do you do there?
I do vlog. I do YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah.
I've been in Korea, Seoul, Busan.
We live in Daegu, which is near
I played
Busan.
boxing before.
Really?
But a long time, 35, 40 years ago.
Wow.
Now I live now in Australia. I'm a boy. I'm teaching Muay Thai in Victoria, Australia.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm with my wife.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I come with my wife, my son, my daughter, with family in Chiang Mai.
Well, we've been here for 6 days.
Whoa, in Chiang Mai?
Yeah, yeah.
Whoa, really
We love it. We've walked everywhere.
Go to Bangkok. We're not good with that. We're Bangkok. But what have you seen Chiang Mai here? Everything.
Yeah, we did a cooking experience the other day.
good,
We've walked all over around the city, all of the Watts. We did the walking market.
Yeah, good.
We did the night market.
Right,
We
right.
went to Warorot.
Good.
We
You
went.
went to the handicraft and so?
We did.
When?
3 days ago.
Oh, handicraft factory.
Yep.
Wow, could be.
We went to the Chinese neighborhood and had original khao soi.
Good.
Yeah, we've really gotten around.
Right, good. Enjoy it better.
Yeah,
Is that your husband?
He is, and
Really?
and my cameraman.
Not daughter and father?
Oh, you're so sweet. Listen to you. Listen to you.
How long are you married?
What year is it?
Huh?
Almost 9.5.
9.5 years.
9.5
Children?
years. He came with 3 children.
Wow.
Yeah, 3 complete children.
But not with you?
Oh no, I was fine with his 3.
Are you a good technique? Now he pregnant baby, me twin, you never know. You do for fun, enjoy.
Yeah, we do love it here.
Nice talking. Slowly, now raining. Slowly enjoy.
Oh, raining is fine.
Like the rain.
Thank you. As I said, people here are really friendly and curious. Our second day here, a Chiang Mai policeman approached us to chat us up. And I think he was a little drunk because I think he'd just gone for his after shift drinks and was heading home. Unfortunately, he was driving home. Oh well, I'll try not to think about that too hard. But he was super friendly and he was very excited to tell us about things to do in Chiang Mai and to make recommendations. Oh, Korean. Talk about that in a moment. And so yeah, we've had really great encounters with the residents of Chiang Mai. So you may or may not have just heard the Korean that passed us as we walked by. Another Wat. Oh, we have a construction area up here. Maybe one across the street. Yeah. So about, I think it's been about 2 weeks ago now, Thailand basically opened up for visa-free travel. It added to visa. What? Do people? Welcome to the live stream. Thank you for joining us. Anyways, I was saying free, visa-free travel opened up to Korea, etc. And according to the locals, within days, the flood of Korean came because they were able to come here without applying for Korean all over the place. I've seen a whole lot of signs hastily added in Hangul to various places. So over here, the line, a hotel and fine dining restaurant. Oh, I guess let's look through some of the pictures. This is called the Askara Lana cuisine. Does not look very Lana. Nope, I'm just not feeling the Lana. So apparently this is more of a fine dining Western place. I mean, it has some interesting looking dishes, but definitely, oh, there at the back we get to some, well, not necessarily Lana anyway. Okay, they look like they have traditional desserts. So again, pretty much anywhere you look, you see these beautiful wat. And then they're sort of hemmed in by much less appealing, you know, these sort of parking garages and Honda dealerships. I guess it is a Chiang Mai and not a nice tourist way. Old Town Prague has now become a Czech historical Disney World. Right, so we've actually crossed the city from one side to the other. Chiang Mai is a square. It was a very, very neatly laid out square, and it was built on a plan, and it was built with two sets of walls of city fortifications, defensive fortifications. And so now we're heading to one of the better preserved gates, actually. And but oh, right. So one of the things that they sell here in abundance is preserved or conserved butterflies and terrifying insects in some cases. Beautiful butterflies, terrifying insects. So you can buy these, you know, and bring them home with you as a souvenir of the sort of beauty that you can see here. Actually, that's an atlas moth, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, you can tell we're approaching one of the major tourist spots, sightseeing spots here in town, because the tourist shops increase in number. Here's another Lila Thai massage, the place that provides ex-inmates, women ex-inmates with work. And you can rent costumes here. So here you can rent this, by costume, I don't mean fancy dress. I mean traditional Thai costume, traditional Thai fashion. Please don't take offense at the word costume. It didn't originally mean fancy dress, dear viewers. Issue that cropped up on Instagram. Anyway, the Thai people do not consider it appropriation or misappropriation for visitors of any nationality to come here, rent the traditional clothing, and wear it around the city in a respectful manner. They are not offended by it. They don't feel as their culture is being abused by foreigners. This is something that crops up a lot in America, and it seems that people cannot understand the difference between appropriation and appreciation. My Korean friends encourage all of Americans and all non-Koreans to rent and or buy hanbok and wear them. It is not misappropriation. And in fact, I guarantee you there are many shops who would be very angry at anyone who bullies people into not renting and wearing the traditional clothing, because it's a major source of income for them. But most importantly, they don't feel offended by it. They don't feel as though they are being disrespected or belittled in any way. My Thai friends have some very not nice things to say about traditional Thai clothing. So here we are, soapbox off, here we are at the Ta Phe gate. Ta Phe, so not Phe, Ta Phe gate, which is part of the original fortification system, which was originally earthenworks, but then apparently in the 18th and 19th century, hello. No, thank you. Part of the original Thai part of the city, and so the brickwork was added, I think, in the 19th century, actually. And the gate was added then too. Yeah, the 19th century, right? Most of it crumbled, so this is mostly reconstruction here, right? So this one was rebuilt in 1985 to 1986, kind of based on the historical evidence, which included excavations and historic photographs. You want to keep walking, showing people an walk. So the university project, and so, you know, this is not surviving, it's not original, but it's still beautiful, and it gives you an idea of how the city used to look, completely encompassed. But before that, there were earthwork berms basically surrounding the city. outer ring that encompassed even another part of the city. And those initial earthenworks defenses were built at the same time as the city in the 1290s. You can see these pigeons are expecting to be fed. We are not going to feed them. Apparently they're going to feed them though. These poor birds. You give them seed and then they startle the living hell out of them for the sake of picture. Oh, okay. Here we have a boat that was part of the city defensive works, and I have not been able to find out if this moat was reconstructed or if it just kind of got built and then never deconstructed. But the wall used to run along it like this. So, and apparently, where we were just walking, that's now been filled in with a concrete square. Nope. Used to be able to bring boats right up to that gate because Ta Pe, I think means raft gate, is what my Thai friends told me yesterday.
Scorpion boats, probably.
So the merchants used to pull right up to that gate with their wares and unload them. So this whole moat system used to be connected to the Ping River, I believe, is the name of the major water thoroughfare that connects to here. Now here to our left, we have another beautiful set of architecture, sort of going right to left. This one has an Agoda rating of 9.5. I don't know what it is, but haha. So it's a hotel for sale. And the hotel had a rating of 9.5. So I guess they're selling you that so that if you buy it, you know you kind of inherit the 9.5 rating. I suppose that's a selling point. That's funny. There's all sorts of wildlife here in Chiang Mai because even though it's a city in the midst of jungle. So, you know, shouldn't be surprised if you encounter a variety of venomous snakes, vipers, cobras, also venomous or poisonous insects. There's apparently a kind of centipede here that has these little legs that, it's a big centipede. It's pretty big. And its little legs will give you a sting, all of them, that will basically lay you on your derriere from the shock of the pain. And then wherever they bit you will apparently hurt like hell for days. So again, I always wonder about the first humans who came to jungles and said, yes, we shall settle here. This is a nice, friendly place. Because it happens worldwide. Humans throughout human history have decided that jungles were a great place to live. So looking to the left, you can see the rush of traffic. Okay, I say that and then there's like no traffic. Here we go, rush of traffic. It's a kind of constant roar through most of Thailand, the more densely populated parts of Thailand. So I think we'll cross and go down that neat little lane there. I don't think we've walked down that alley, have we? As I mentioned, cannabis was recently legalized, so there's many, many stores now with names like Weederland. Okay, so now you're going to get to see my crossing skills in action. Like I said, make eye contact, be firm, they will stop. What?
They had a loco tour.
A loco tour? Right? You don't think they mean crazy? You think they meant local? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to walk down this neat little lane here. So up here on the left, we have an original, and by original I mean pre-now, which seems to be the way history, the idea of history works here. If it's not today, it's historic. Teak house. So you can see all that, you know, the carved out teak balustrade rails, the planks, the tin roof. And in there we have a restaurant, and apparently it's also a guest house, so you can also rent rooms. And, you know, have sort of a traditional teak house experience. Massage is, of course, everywhere to be found here. Unfortunately, I have read that some of these so-called massage places are not exactly purely massage, if you pick up what I'm putting down. So we're definitely in the more tourist part here, and you can see why this would be a tourist neighborhood. It's really lovely back here. There isn't a constant roar of vehicles and malodorous scooters. Here we have the Spice Garden with its Asian dining experience. Apparently also rents rooms, which are probably
Inspired Indochina fine dining.
Indochine fine dining. Well, that's one hell of a Mekong. Yeah, okay, the Mekong Valley. Oh, and then there's, right, like magic, we come across another Wat. One that I don't think we've explored. You know, like as with Christian churches, there's certainly a motif that is repeated, and there's not necessarily great innovation in style. There's a Burmese style, there's a Thai style. I've been informed by my Thai friends. There is a Malaysian style. There's, you know, so, but, you know, just like with Christian churches, there are certain key architectural features that are repeated, but that doesn't make it any less lovely to come out of the, you know, sort of mundane street and see this sort of divinely inspired architecture. And by which I don't mean to say that Buddha told people to do this. Buddha didn't even want to be worshipped at all, actually. Literally said that, but kind of, you know, it's just what people do. But inspired by people's faith and their love of their divinity, of their spirituality. So, sort of craftsmanship that goes into creating these spaces always impresses me as a dabbler in a variety of arts and handcrafts. And I've said this earlier in the stream. If you're hearing it again, I apologize. But if you come to a country like Thailand, I really do recommend reading up on Buddhism. I don't necessarily mean convert to Buddhism. If you decide you want to, great. But understand its history, understand the basic tenets, understand its foundational stories, because then you will understand and how it spread, also the spread of Buddhism. And then you will better understand what it is you're actually seeing here. And again, remember that if you come to Thailand, it is generally a shoes-off place, temples especially. So just be prepared for that. And I recommend wearing shoes that you can kick on and off easily. Oh,
Lovely Wat.
it is, isn't it?
You want to take them in?
Yeah, let's go ahead and go in. I will take you in and take off my shoes and take you into this Wat. Wat means temple, for those who don't know. So like Angkor Wat, it's about the temple. Here we are. Apparently, this place actually provides free drinking water, which is a nice touch. Yeah, this one is quite ornate, but not gilt. But you've got very clearly painted or clearly depicted paintings from, you know, basically key scenes in the life of the Buddha and his progression towards enlightenment. And then Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. It's akin to how in a Christian church you'll have the Stations of the Cross very frequently, or how in the stained glass windows you might see the tales of martyrdom of whatever the patron saint of the church is. You know, same idea. This is not one of the tourist ones, probably because I think it's newer. Based on everything I see here, I think it's newer. And so there aren't many people here, or any people here. I met, just kind of nice, actually. The slant of the roof, the gables, the multi-layered effect of the architecture really appeals to me greatly. Oh, is it the gecko? Is it the gecko? Oh. Apparently we've had a squirrel sighting. Is he making an angry noise at you?
Here he is. See him up there?
No.
See this branch? See the little knob that comes out? See the white thing to the right of that knob?
Oh.
Just moved.
Oh, wow, look at that. Oh, yeah, he is. He's making an
You're not
angry noise
showing
at
them
us.
at all?
I'm not showing them at all. Yeah, you do that, I'm going to grab my fan. Apparently there's an angry squirrel up there if you can see his little white body. Yes, for those who are just joining us now, we've been filming for about an hour and a half. So if you watch the recording, you should go back and watch some of the earlier footage.
Almost 2 hours.
2 hours. So you should watch the earlier footage where we go through some of the more historic parts of Chiang Mai. But yeah, there is a reason that people say Chiang Mai is one of the most beautiful cities in Thailand, by which they mean city. Because as I said earlier, there are parts of Thailand, villages, smaller towns that are better preserved in terms of a Thai style of architecture, teak buildings, rather than, you know, modern concrete, multi-story high-rises. But Chiang Mai being the second largest city in Thailand, it can't really afford to, I guess it couldn't afford, literally and metaphorically, to keep its sort of teak style construction. They needed to create buildings that had more room than that for people to live and work. Oh yeah, also they ran out of teak. So as the teak rotted, there was no more teak to replace the rotten teak because they over-consumed it, as we humans tend to do with most resources. Medieval Europe basically denuded the entire landscape in its quest for wood to build, well, houses and ships. Everyone thinks of the Middle Ages as being this, you know, the beautiful, verdant paradise of forest covering the land. Nope. If you look at medieval woodcuts depicting the countryside all over Europe, you're going to see very naked hills with cows and sheep on them. And that's because the forests were gone. Well, here in Thailand, they've apparently run out of teak. So it's now a protected tree and extremely expensive. Ooh, here's a vegan place. Of course, Thai cuisine in many ways lends itself towards vegan options because, you know, one of the bases of Thai cuisine is coconut milk, which is absolutely vegan. On the other hand, I think they might not consider things like shrimp paste to be in violation of the vegan tenets.
And egg.
And yes, yeah.
We have a vegan meal, it's got egg.
Yeah, we have a vegan meal, it's got eggs. So it wouldn't surprise me if they're using the word vegan in lieu of the word vegetarian or as a synonym therefore. So if you are a strict vegan and you want to maintain your vegan diet while here, you might want to ask if the dish includes shrimp paste, fish sauce, or egg. Because those are also extremely key flavor givers in Thai cuisine, and I almost can't imagine them making, I can't imagine them actually making some of their dishes, well, any of their dishes without those items. So, oh,
And another weed shop.
yeah, everywhere. Ma voix. My voice weed shop, okay. And you can look right here and you see some interesting sort of modern Thai architecture. Here's another hotel with really pretty approach, but one where I can see drunk guests returning in the night and hurting themselves badly. Missing the central walking way and tripping and scraping and or breaking something. That's me being cynical again. And already, barely have we left one wat when there is another here on the left this time. Another battle, victorious, perhaps. For those who are just tuning in, we encountered a gentleman who's professionally restoring the golden Buddhas inside of these wats and also restoring their lacquering and paint and plaster. And he told us that there are so many wats in Chiang Mai because his city founded in the 1290s. Every time there was a victory in battle, they built a wat and dedicated it to the victory. So how many?
470 battles, 470 victories.
Yeah, 470 battles, 470 temples, 470 victories. Scripture repository, Tripticaka maybe? Or a copy of the Tripticaka? So I don't know so much about this whitewash that they use here, but I do know in places like Greece, the whitewash is made with a pigment. So this little bit of cuteness is odd. These monks hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil. Okay. There's a frog trying his damnedest over here to attract a mate. I can hear it. Yeah, beautiful dragonflies. And then the stunning stupa, the stunning chedi, as they say in Thai. Stupa is what we might, or pagoda is what we may know it as. If you don't know, stupas, these chedi, they are, in Buddhism, they are specifically used for enshrining usually Buddhist relics. So, you know, the finger of Buddha or the toenail of Buddha, or sometimes objects dedicated to the temple, sometimes donors or kings or queens, their ashes are interred inside. In Korea, they've been opening these up as part of a restoration process, and they've been finding medieval Korean garments perfectly preserved inside of them, which has been absolutely essential in increasing our understanding of medieval Korean clothing. So then I wonder about some of these, if there are also similar practice of devoting garments to Buddha through the enshrinement process. Ooh, look at the stained glass in this one. Very modern, but still very lovely. There you have the peacock, the sacred animal, sacred is a strong word, the sort of mascot of Chiang Mai, because during the 16th century, Burma apparently invaded and the monks fled the city, as monks tend to do when violent invaders enter. And they fled to the jungle, and there were the jungle bird known as peacocks, and they actually took care of the peacocks while they were there in the jungle. And so hence the peacock has become associated with Chiang Mai as mascot. And so you'll see peacocks in a lot of places where you wouldn't necessarily see them in Buddhist compounds outside of Chiang Mai. Yeah. Really beautiful. The way the golden Buddha looms out of the darkness.
Yeah, I don't know if I can get him to see it or not.
If you're watching and you're enjoying, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up. And if you come back, or if you can, take the time to post a comment under the video once it has actually published, because that really helps promote the video in the algorithm, etc., etc. Nah, it's okay. Well, I think, I guess I should say, do you have any questions, dear viewer? I think we're going to actually, we've been filming for 2 hours. My voice needs a break. Are there any questions about Chiang Mai, our experiences while we've been here? I think I'm going to do a live Q&A where you can tune in if you want to ask specific questions and talk about some of my travel learnings from having traveled in Thailand multiple times now, because there's some pretty key tips that will make your stay much less complicated, shall we say, and much more enjoyable. So, last chance for questions. Nothing? Okay. Well, then, thank you for those who tuned in. Thank you to those who are watching in retrospect. If you have questions, you can put them in the comments once the video is posted. Don't forget to hit thumbs up. And if you enjoy my content, please do subscribe. Okay, everyone, we're going to continue exploring Chiang Mai, and then we are heading to Hong Kong tonight en route back to Korea. Bye, everyone. Safe travels.